Faith in space. Pope Francis becomes the second pope to talk to astronauts at the International Space Station.
What gives me the greatest joy every day is being able to look outside and see God's creation, maybe a little bit from his perspective. People cannot come up here and see the indescribable beauty of our Earth and not be touched in their souls.
That was American astronaut Randy Bresnik telling the Holy Father what brings him happiness more than 200 miles above Earth. Juliet Lindley is EWTN News Nightly's Vatican correspondent. She joins us from Rome. Hi, Juliet. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Tell us about these astronauts the Pope spoke to today.
Lauren, the link-up was a live link-up. It lasted about 20-25 minutes, and the Pontiff had 5 questions for the astronauts. Now, there were 6 astronauts from different countries, 3 American, 2 Russian, and 1 Italian. And the Italian astronaut, Paolo Nespoli, was the main interlocutor, speaking in Italian with the Pope. And the Pope was in a little room inside the Vatican, sitting at a desk, looking up at a screen, and in front of him, you could see the 6 astronauts up in the space station.
The Pope talks to space. What did he say to these astronauts, and what did they tell him?
His questions included whether love is the force that makes the universe move, what gives them happiness when they're up in space, and, for instance, how they cooperate amongst themselves. So on the question of love, one of the Russian astronauts said that he's been reading The Little Prince, and that love is indeed the force that gives you the strength to give your life for someone else. On the question of cooperation, the Italian astronaut said their spirit of cooperation was very, very strong, and that they as a team were so much stronger than themselves as individuals. And Joseph Acaba, the American astronaut, said that the space station is a great example of international collaboration.
I love this story. I just think it's so good that the Pope is sitting in this little tiny room and he's talking to these astronauts about love. But he wasn't the first pontiff, isn't that right, to make a call into space? Have we been in space before as Catholics?
Absolutely, absolutely. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI made a similar phone call 6 years ago to the International Space Station. That was in 2011. And he asked many questions, many of them about the planet, about the environment, and about what risks the planet faced. And if you want, we can go back even further to 1969, when Pope Paul VI blessed the voyage of Apollo 11, and he said he would keep them in his prayers, and he even went out to Castel Gandolfo, to where the Pope's country residence is, and he looked through the telescope because he too wanted to be amongst those throughout the world who wanted to see the first man to set foot on the moon.
And wanted to be amongst the stars himself, I guess, in some small way. That's wonderful. Thank you for this great story. Juliet Lindley, EWTN News Nightly, Vatican correspondent.
Thank you, Lauren.